winning. Being able to play with Caitlin Clark, I think that was a huge eye-opening. Like, I had the opportunity to play with one of the greatest players that's ever going to play the game of basketball. So for me, once I also heard that, like, oh, she really wants me here too, I was like, oh, well, let's get it done then. There's no questions about it.
Myisha Hines-Allen drew attention at Indiana Fever Media Day when she spoke about how she ended up joining the team. She explained that Caitlin Clark had shown interest in playing alongside her and that she felt welcomed throughout the process. Hines-Allen described that communication as a positive factor in her decision, along with the organization's overall interest in bringing her into the roster. Once discussions moved forward between the player, team leadership, and coaching staff, Indiana proceeded with completing the signing. The situation reflects a common pattern in professional sports, where player input, team needs, and front office evaluation all come together in shaping roster moves during the offseason.
So yeah, that is very clear. She's like, you know what? Look, I got a chance to play with Caitlin Clark, and one of the big things is that, as well, is that she wanted me here too, and everyone's like, oh, I still never understood why everybody got so angry at the Myisha Hines-Allen situation. Like, she wasn't good for the Wings last year, but like, everything is in perspective. If she was a minimum contract player who fought her way into a starting spot for the Dallas Wings, then yeah, I feel like that would have been a legitimately good thing.
Myisha Hines-Allen recently shared details at Indiana Fever Media Day that added more context to how the team's offseason moves came together. She described the opportunity to play alongside Caitlin Clark as a key part of her decision, noting that the environment in Indiana and the organization's interest in her role also influenced her choice. In her comments, Hines-Allen expressed excitement about joining a team built around one of the league's most influential young players and said the conversations made her feel welcomed and valued during the process. Once those discussions progressed between her, team leadership, and the coaching staff, Indiana finalized the signing. Her remarks highlight a familiar dynamic in professional sports, where roster decisions often involve a combination of front office planning, coaching strategy, and player fit. In this case, it reflects how teams evaluate not just talent, but also chemistry and how different pieces might work together over the course of the season.
By the way, prior to this, she stated that Indiana has been an option in the past for her free agency. So I actually believe that she was the backup option if Natasha Howard fell through last year. If Natasha Howard had fell through and they didn't sign Natasha Howard, I fully believe they she would have went and they would have signed.
This is where the situation becomes more interesting in terms of how roster decisions are actually formed. Myisha Hines-Allen mentioned that she had already considered Indiana in free agency previously, which suggests that the Fever had already evaluated her as a potential fit at an earlier stage. In that context, it is reasonable to assume she was already on their internal radar based on system needs and roster evaluation. From that perspective, the front office likely had prior knowledge of her game and how she might fit into their structure, especially if they were exploring different frontcourt options in earlier seasons. Players like her are often part of broader scouting and fit assessments even if a move does not happen immediately. What changed this time was timing and direction. According to her comments, Caitlin Clark expressed clear interest in playing alongside her, and that level of alignment between a franchise player and roster planning can accelerate decisions that might otherwise take longer in a typical front office process. Once that preference aligned with organizational planning, the signing moved forward more quickly than in professional sports. This kind of overlap between player influence and management evaluation is not unusual. Front offices may already identify potential targets, but when a key player endorses or prefers a specific fit, it can help clarify priorities and speed up execution.
This is a really good fit for the Fever, and the fact that she's out basically saying, you know what, Caitlin Clark wanted me. Everyone's like, oh, interesting. People are losing their damn minds. I'm like, if she is a backup, you are getting a...
Stephanie White's approach, based on Myisha Hines-Allen's comments, reflects a coaching philosophy where roster decisions are aligned with the strengths and preferences of key players. When a franchise cornerstone like Caitlin Clark expresses interest in a teammate, it naturally becomes part of the decision process. The coaching staff and front office are not ignoring their own evaluation, but combining it with player input to refine roster needs and fit. From that angle, White's role is about alignment rather than approval or rejection. Once Clark signals what she believes she needs around her, it helps prioritize decisions that may already have been under review. The reasoning behind Clark's interest in Myisha Hines-Allen also fits basketball logic. A difficult season in Dallas does not always reflect a player's full ability. Team instability, role confusion, and system issues can all affect performance, making players look less effective than they are in a better environment. In Indiana's structure, the fit is more defined. Clark benefits from teammates who set strong screens, play physical inside, rebound, and operate efficiently without needing high usage. Those role traits help stabilize the system and support a high-usage primary guard. Overall, this reflects a common modern roster-building approach where scouting, system needs, and star player input all come together. When those factors align, decisions move faster, especially for teams building around a franchise-level centerpiece.
You're looking at it, and it is this is a really big player, and there's a big reason why Caitlin Clark was pushing, because by the way, they have a very similar big rotation. She is replacing Bree Turner. Natasha Howard is being replaced. Dantas is still Dantas. Natasha Howard is being replaced by Mo Billings. That's a like for like. Worst case scenario, it's even. And not only that,
that player is Myisha. She is big, physical, and plays with clear strength in the paint. She is also fearless, which matters in a league where physicality is part of winning basketball. That type of presence is valuable when building a roster that aims to compete at a high level. It is not just about toughness, though. When used in the right role, Myisha can also contribute as a functional team player. She screens well, she is a capable connective passer, and she can move the ball quickly without needing high usage. She is not a player you want initiating long possessions or bringing the ball up consistently, as past situations have shown that is not her strongest role. But in a structured system where decisions are quick and roles are clear, she can be effective and efficient. That fits the way the Fever want to play. Caitlin Clark will handle a large portion of the offense in transition and half-court sets. What she benefits from are players who can screen, roll, pop, and make fast reads. Myisha fits that profile. She can set a screen for Clark, pop out, receive the pass, and immediately find Aaliyah Boston on a cut or kick it out to Kelsey Mitchell for a three. That is connective basketball, and it is often what separates good offenses from efficient ones. There is also the value side of the move. Myisha signed for close to the minimum, meaning the Fever are getting production below what her market value might suggest. That creates roster flexibility and allows teams to build depth without overpaying for role players. Instead of relying on one or two heavy contracts, they can spread value across multiple contributors. From a roster perspective, she effectively upgrades the backup big rotation while keeping overall structure stable. In a league where depth matters across a long season, those incremental upgrades can make a difference. It also opens internal competition for minutes, which can raise performance levels across the group. This is where the Caitlin Clark angle becomes relevant again. She is entering her third season and has already established herself as a central figure in the league. In modern basketball, it is not unusual for elite players to have input on roster construction, especially when organizations want to maximize their strengths. Teams like the ones built around LeBron James or Stephen Curry followed similar patterns, where star players had influence over the types of teammates brought in that sense. The Fever combining front office evaluation with player preference reflects a broader trend in professional sports. When alignment exists between coaching staff, management, and a franchise-level player, roster decisions often become more targeted and efficient awareness of what it takes to be successful. They know which teammates can elevate their performance. They understand which personalities fit well in a locker room environment. They have insights that a front office may not always fully see from the outside. From that perspective, it was clear that Caitlin Clark wanted to play with Myisha Hines-Allen, someone she believed could improve the team. Someone she trusted even after others may have questioned her following a difficult season in Dallas. That reflects basketball IQ, leadership, and a level of vision that goes beyond basic stats and highlight moments. Myisha's comments also suggest there was some form of direct communication, where she said that once she heard Caitlin truly wanted her in Indiana, her decision became much easier. That does not necessarily mean player-to-player recruiting in a formal sense, but it could come through agents or shared connections, as is common in professional sports. For a player like Myisha, that kind of message matters. Coming off a challenging season where her role and perception may have taken a hit, hearing that a top player in the league values her game can serve as validation. It can rebuild confidence and shift mindset. When a player feels wanted and trusted, it often changes how they approach their role on the court. She also spoke positively about Aaliyah Boston and her development, showing an understanding that success in Indiana is built on complementing existing stars rather than competing with them. That mindset fits the Fever structure, where each player has a defined role. Clark as the primary creator, Boston as the interior anchor, Kelsey Mitchell as a scoring threat, and Myisha adding physicality, screening, and connective play. There is also an adjustment factor. Myisha understands this opportunity is not guaranteed or easy. There will be expectations, pressure, and scrutiny. But that willingness to accept the challenge is part of why the signing makes sense from a team-building perspective. Ultimately, this reflects a broader trend in modern basketball where elite players can influence roster direction, and organizations often balance front office evaluation with star input. When that alignment happens, teams can become more intentional in how they build around a core group. Reactions from fans have naturally been mixed. Some see it as a smart fit and trust Clark's judgment. Others remain cautious based on past performances. But in the end, the organization is betting on fit, system, and belief in player development within a structured environment. And that is why moves like this are often less about individual narratives and more about how all the pieces function together once the season actually begins.